to chapter 13. When a person breaks the desire he has for money, he brings hashgacha prati to his life. So how do you break the desire for money? He says you have to give tzedakah. Through giving tzedakah, you get rid of the burning desire for to chase for money. And you break the desire for wealth and riches. And then you're going to do business with faith. And you're going to be happy with what you have. A person who has a tremendous desire for money, it's very hard for him to be honest in business. He's going to try to make a quick buck over here, quick buck over there, cut some corners, lie and steal and do all in between. And also, he's not going to be happy with what he has. Like Shlomo Melech said, you have 100, you want 200. You have 200, you want 400. So therefore, he says, how you're going to be able to be happy with what you have is when you give tzedakah. You're going to be happy with what you have, and you're running to get rich. The person's always running. It's not enough for what he has. It's because he doesn't have full hashgacha pratit. He doesn't feel that Hashem is involved in his life and gives him exactly what he needs. He feels like he has to do more, and Hashem didn't give me enough. So over there, he says, when you give tzedakah, you realize that Baruch Hu runs the world, because the person who gives tzedakah, what does he believe? He believes Hashem gives me parnasah. Hashem gave me, and He told me, and He gave me. He wants me to give also. And if I give away my money, I shouldn't be nervous. I should realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu provided me to provide others, and He'll give me more. He'll give me more. So therefore, a person has to realize, by giving tzedakah, you're showing to yourself you really believe that Hashem is the one who gives the parnasah. He says, and you say for yourself from the curse by sweat of brow you will eat. The one who's too busy chasing after money, on him the curse applies. Over the sweat of your brow you will eat. He works so hard, through much stress and much burden, that he makes his money. Even after he makes the millions, he's not happy with it. He doesn't feel pleasure from it. He feels he's not enough. Rahman and Islam, Hashem says to save us from this, because he doesn't believe that he has enough, because he doesn't feel Hashem in his life. He doesn't feel that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving what he needs, because he's not giving tzedakah properly. There's people who give tzedakah, but not tzedakah on the level they're supposed to be giving. He says, from giving tzedakah, you are saved from all these things. Nachman famously says, that the desire for money is the avodah zarah of our times today. He says the people used to go and have a desire. Should I do what Hashem says? Or should I do what the idol says? He says today, people have the test. Should I do what the money says? Or should I do what Hashem says? Mincha, customer who just walked in. Go learn Shiur Torah, or go stay in business longer and think I'll make more money. Hashem can't give me enough money for my 9 to 5. I have to stay after hours and work more. That's a person's belief in Hashem, and dependent on if you give tzedakah and realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu is the one who gives, then you'll leave early, go learn. Or if you don't, then you'll feel like you have to stay and do more and work overtime and whatnot, and think that your extra ishtadlut will do something. Rather, the person has to put a normal amount of ishtadlut, and Hashem will provide for him in those means. He says, he says, as long as a person has this avodah zarah, idol worship of money, he says, I have to do what the money says, and I have to get up early. If people say to get money you have to do this, I'm willing to do it right away. To do what Hashem says, but to do what the money says, right away I'll do it. Then he says, as long as you believe in the money like an idol, he says, this brings charon af ba'olam, this brings anger, tremendous amount of anger to the world. He says, as much as you nullify this desire and this desire for money, so then you get rid of Hashem's anger, because the Torah says when you have a ir nidachat, you have a city that served idols, and you have to do what? You have to burn down the whole city. You have to get rid of the whole city. When there's a avodah zarah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I am a zealous king. I am a person who is very, very jealous, and I don't like that you serve an idol, so I get very upset. So therefore, he says over here, when you do the opposite, when you give tzedakah, you show Hashem, you believe in Him. When it comes to money, Hashem gives a tremendous amount of chesed. He says, and he says this is also going to give you the knowledge of Hashem, awareness of Hashem, to the point where you can start building the Beit HaMikdash. And he says, when you get to that point where money for you doesn't mean everything, and you don't run for the money for every single little thing the money says, you rather run for Hashem and you try to do ishtadlut for parnasah, He says that's going to be the level of Mashiach. Because when Mashiach comes, people are not going to care about money anymore. The Gemara says that Ben David ba, Mashiach can't come until everybody has no money in their pocket. Money is not going to be a relevant issue anymore. People are not going to talk about money. People are not going to run around for money. And people are going to realize Mashiach and HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the mitzvot are the main part of the world, the main idea of this world. So therefore, they're going to go and run for the mitzvot. They're not going to run for the money. So therefore, he says the chidush is that you have to get to that point, or even now, even before Mashiach comes, you have to get to that level where the money's not everything. Yes, we have to work, but it's a mitzvah to run for my family, but it's a bigger mitzvah to not only do what the money says, rather do what Hashem says and find time for the money in between. People usually run for the money and find time for Hashem in between. You have to make time for Hashem and find time for the money in between.